Hey, Edgar here, the host of Snug Wrestling. Are you tired of your flimsy sunglasses that look just like everyone else's? Well, check out our friends from Aquila. These are handcrafted, limited run frames made in Los Angeles using recycled materials and built to last and look clean. They got UV protection, blue light options, and even prescription lenses. Plus, Aquila gives back 1% of every sale that goes to environmental causes. And because you listen to Snug Wrestling, you get 10% off with code SNUG at checkout. Just head to aquila.la and upgrade your eyewear responsibly. That's aquila.la, A-K-I-L-A.la. Save 10% off with promo code SNUG.
Hey, this is your Olympic hero, Kurt Angle, and you're listening to Snug Wrestling. Oh, it's true. It's damn true.
How art thou today, Bludd?
I'm all right. My wife's over at her parents' hanging out, having fun. I'm on like 3 hours of sleep. I got that like exhaustion pulse headache that you get when you haven't slept in a while and you're like on autopilot.
Damn, bro, why you can't sleep or what? You're getting old, dog. That's what it is, huh? You getting old, bro.
Well, well, that too, but I also worked out abs at the gym for like 2 hours last night, and then my pre-workout took till like midnight to wear off, but I don't get the crash for my pre-workout. So then I was up till like 5 in the morning, 6, finally fell asleep around 6:30. My wife wakes me up to tell me she's heading over to her parents at like 10. And I couldn't go back to sleep. I was like, son of a bitch.
Yeah, I feel it, dog. I've been sleeping like a baby lately, so I can't complain, dog. Can't complain.
My abs are killing me.
Good, bro. That's what's up, man.
But I will tell you, down 9 pounds. So my cut is working. And I do have MegaCon this Saturday. I won't, unfortunately, for those of you who were wanting to know, I will not be able to meet John Cena. I wanted to really badly. I was trying to. The price to meet John Cena and get a video interview was going to run $300.
Damn, bro.
So I called and double checked. I can't meet Daphne Keene and him. Daphne Keene's only $80. John Cena was like $249 for like large signed autographs on like items with a photo. But if you want a straight video of him for like longer than 30 seconds, they charge like $300.
That's crazy how they have that option. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. That's how I got my video with Tara Strong.
$300 isn't that bad, bro. Like I've seen some other people charge like over $1,000 for just the simple meet and greet, you know?
Oh, it's not that bad, but it's too rich for my blood.
Oh no, I wouldn't pay for it. I'm just saying, like compared to other people.
Yeah, no, you're right. No,
it's John Cena,
you're right.
You know.
No, you're 100% right. I mean, my tickets just for my wife and I ran me about $170 after tax just for one day.
By the way, speaking of money, have you gotten my package yet?
I checked the mail twice today. Hasn't come yet.
Okay. I hope I sent it to the right fucking address.
I'm not going to say it on here, but I really hope you did.
Yeah, what's your address,
phone case
No, I'm kidding.
Oh yeah, I'm going to say it live on here. No, this phone case is falling apart.
No, and then they ask which one, because they have two different kinds. They have the sliver and they have the protective case. I got you the protective case, so I hope
that
that's
was
okay.
Nice. That was nice. I didn't know. I went for I expected the slim because it was on sale for our merch. For those of you who don't know, I can't really talk about it here without getting flagged by TikTok. We have our own stuff to support our podcast, and essentially we were ordering our own stuff. And he was kind enough to order something for me off of one of my own designs and stuff, and one of our, this to avoid TikTok's algorithm. But I just thought because the slim was on sale, I was like, oh, here. We'll get on sale for our own thing. So I just figured you'd go for that because the same cost as one of the other shirts.
Yeah, because I was going to say, because I'm like, man, if it's going to be a phone case, I want it to be like something that actually protects it, not just something for like decoration. That's kind of pointless. But I was going to send James some stuff. And I was like, man, I might as well send some to Bludd too. Because I'm like, I don't want to just send it to James and not send nothing to Bludd. So. But yeah, well, I still haven't heard from James.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem.
I'm really hoping it at least pops up in the mail tomorrow. And shout out in the comments to Dwayne Cashman, one of our big resident indie professional wrestlers. He is a friend of the podcast, friend of the channel. Dwayne, I do got to talk to you the next couple of days. I got to set up our next interview so we can go ahead and talk about your heel run, your championship runs, and everything else. So shoot me a message and we'll talk about that and set that up in the next couple of weeks or so.
Well, speaking of heels, that's a perfect transition. Welcome everybody to the Snug Wrestling Podcast. It's Thursday, TikTok Live with myself and Mr. Bludd. My name is Edgar, where we talk about crazy wrestling news and updates. And this one is pretty crazy, Mr. Bludd. We got to talk about our good friend Ricochet. And this is some pretty crazy stuff that's been happening with Ricochet. So I want to hear everyone's thoughts. If you're with us, share your thoughts on the comments. Ricochet got some heat on him, some really, really bad heat as of late. Not just with the IWC, but also it looks like the AEW people are not too happy with Ricochet reportedly.
Yeah.
So long story short, and we'll go into the details here, but there was a response that Ricochet made to a fan on Twitter where this fan was trolling Ricochet. And typical Ricochet, we've been victims of Ricochet's internet backlashes where he's gotten on us.
Well, you have. He likes me.
That's something to be proud of. Ricochet likes me, bro. Ricochet ain't nobody, first of all. But
oh God.
So this fool Ricochet responded to the fan and said, "I'm glad you have MS." And that pissed a lot of people off. You know, MS is a really serious disease. So, of course, the people weren't too happy about that, but the fans responded in a very crazy way with sending him and his wife, Samantha, deaths, off threats. I don't know if I can say it on TikTok, but now Samantha's Twitter account is off. She's off of Twitter because of all these threats that they've been getting. Did you get a wind of this, Mr. Bludd? Did you hear what's been happening with our good friend Rick?
Yeah, the Wrestle Talk News broke it. As you guys know, I listen to Wrestle Talk News, What Culture, Cultaholic every single morning to start my day. The first hour of my mornings when I wake up is nothing but, hearing about what's going on in the wrestling world and getting multiple different people's takes and opinions on it so I can then inform my own thoughts because I like to be an educated quote unquote analyst or journalist when we do our content creation stuff for pro wrestling. But yeah, here's the problem when you respond to comments in character. Because from what I understand, he was in character while he was tweeting. The problem is he crossed the line in character. And the thing about being in character, you have to know where the line is because you are still a public figure. You still represent a brand. And anything you say is going to fucking be used against you. MJF is a perfect example of this. MJF knows how to cross a line without stepping both feet over it. He knows how to get right up to the line, dip his toe on the other side, but keep the rest of his weight on the back foot. He's very, very good at it. He's so good at blending kayfabe and shoot. He will make fun of you, bully you in an interview, and at the same time, in heel character, make a backhanded compliment towards you. Not an insult, a backhanded comment. He will make a backhanded compliment because there's an art to this stuff, right? There is a technique in which you can conduct yourself in a manner that is not going to get you in trouble, not going to harm your brand, but still be wildly entertaining. And I don't think Ricochet has learned that. I think Ricochet, because you know what you'll never do? You never hear MJF in an interview or on tweets making fun of someone's disabilities.
That's
because
not
MJF,
true.
Well, here's the thing. You do, but it's never, you forgive shit he says because he's literally living the gimmick at all times.
Okay. Let me jump in here real quick, Bludd, because
okay.
I'm glad that you brought up MJF because when I first saw this, that's the first thing that came to my mind. I was like, would people be this pissed off if it was MJF who responded in this way, the way that Ricochet did? And honestly, I think the people would just overlook it and just be like, oh, well, that's just MJF, because I've seen this clip, and this is the first thing that came to mind. It was a meet and greet. This guy in a wheelchair, disabled guy, goes up to meet MJF. MJF, in character, is making fun of this guy, right? But everyone is just laughing and joking. MJF's like, oh, I can do something you can't do. And he stands up. And the guy's in the wheelchair. Obviously, the guy can't stand up. And everyone's laughing at him, right? So MJF does make fun of people with disabilities. There's video of this.
Yes, but the difference is when you go to meet MJF, you're either one, expecting it, or two, you're hoping for it because you want to be insulted by this guy. You want to hear how he's going to insult you. That's why you go to stand-up comedy. You go to stand-up comedy, and the hecklers, the reason that there's such great crowd work with so many comedians is because you'll have hecklers in a crowd who will literally purposefully say something about my hair, say something about my wife.
Yeah.
And because they want to know how creative you can get with it. They want to be in on the joke. And that's what MJF does. As someone perfectly pointed it out in the comments, shout out to Spesh, it's not malicious when MJF does it. He's not trying to break their spirit. When Ricochet did it, it came across as he wanted to genuinely clap back and defend himself in a way that he thought would shut them down.
Yeah, very
because
true.
Ricochet is not known for doing the insult promo stuff to fans. That he's been a consummate babyface the majority of his mainstream career. MJF is synonymous with it. So with him, you expect it or you hope for it so you can get it on video.
And there's a difference too. This is why, Bludd, you say this a lot. When I'm texting you, you're like, bro, I'm just going to call you because it's just easier to communicate over the phone or on FaceTime than over text. Over text or over a tweet or over a DM, it's kind of hard to understand the context of things, right? So when Ricochet is saying stuff like this on text, you don't know the tone of this message that Ricochet is trying to send. Maybe he meant it as like a heelish comment that's not meant to hurt people. Maybe he meant it as a joke. Maybe he was serious about it. We don't know. That's the problem.
There's a perfect saying for that. It's called lost in translation.
Yeah.
The problem is, I tell this to my wife sometimes too, when we have stupid spats about stuff and she'll try to tell me, she'll say something that'll irk me and I'll tell her I don't like the way so, and she'll say, oh, I didn't say it that way. And I'll repeat back to her what she said. I didn't say it like that. And what I tell her is, it's funny because in my opinion, you can't tell someone how they heard you say something to them because they have ears, because you said it to them. And I tell my wife, babe, it's all about inflection. It's all about the connotation. She goes, what does that mean? I said, let me give you an example, babe. What if I met you in public and I said, hey, have a nice day. But I said it this way, hey, have a nice day versus have a nice day versus have a nice day.
Yeah.
I just said it three different ways. The exact same words, didn't change a word, had three different meanings. Yeah. Endearing, mad, sarcastic.
Right.
You can't determine emotion through text. Yeah. And Ricochet, being a man in his mid-30s, should understand that typing that shit out without putting like LOL or a cry emoji or hell, he would have been better off filming a Twitter video and cutting like a promo on this person and character. So then people could have got the full context of the response. Thought, oh, he's just being a heel.
Yeah, correct.
Then he would at least have defenders going, bro, he's just working.
Right.
But no one's doing that.
No, yeah. And again, everyone's different. Some people just have a way darker sense of humor than others. Like when I first read this, because again, like I've been on that side of Ricochet trying to talk shit to me, right? On online. And at first it was just like, holy shit, like what the fuck, right? But then later on I was like, you know what? This is actually pretty funny. Like I dig this, So when I saw that Ricochet posted that, and I'm not a fan of Ricochet, I'm not defending Ricochet, I can give a fuck about him, right? But I took it as like, okay, that's kind of funny, right? But again, I'm not really familiar with this whole MS thing. I knew one person, one of my friend's uncles passed away from it years ago in his mid-40s, right?
It's very serious. I have a couple of friends whose parents had it.
Right. Then I started thinking about it, and then I looked into it, and then I realized, I was like, oh shit, yeah. He fucked up. So maybe that was another reason why he said it. He's probably not aware of how serious MS
it's like
is.
Making it. And here's the bullshit thing. I guarantee you he actually is. And you know, it's like making fun of someone with cancer. You can't pretend to not know. You know, multiple sclerosis is a thing that you know someone who has it, know someone who has a family member that has it. You've heard of it in the news. There are celebrities famous for having it. So it's not like you can. He's a man that's approaching 40. I do not buy for a second he's not aware of what MS is.
Some people
but I have
aren't.
a perfect.
Some people just don't.
As traveled as he is, I find it hard to believe.
I
mean,
we don't.
I have a perfect comment here to highlight. Talon Williams says, "Do you think wrestling companies should have social media training for their talent?" Here's the thing: WWE does.
Yeah.
But when it comes down to it, look, whether you are working or you are shooting, you are an adult. You are in a professional public position where you are, again, a representation of your brand which is then represented by your company, the company that then pays you and puts your face out on TV. You know what they don't want? Everybody and their grandma going out there and making fun of disabled people on the internet. Because here's the thing, people are also, for a long time now, have been looking for reasons to have an issue with Ricochet. Because ever since he left WWE, and in fact, it was after he left WWE, because people were so salty that he left, and then they were really mad when they felt like he pushed Samantha Irvin to leave too. And that she's just covering and saying, oh, it was my choice. And honestly, the way that it's gone, people feel like his saltiness towards the company, he basically ultimatumed her to ask for her release, and that she's just covering because she's being a good spouse. That's what people believe. Because all he's done is show people he's very vindictive, or can be. And he tries to then hide behind the guise of, oh, it's a work. Oh, I'm in care. Oh, it's a work. And the thing is, I got news for you, brother. You can't just walk up, smack people in the face, and then say, it's not real, brother. Like, eventually, you can't hide behind that. Ever since he's left WWE, he has grown more and more contentious with the wrestling fan base, the wrestling community, who consistently have problems with him because of his attitude, because of his demeanor, because he comes off extremely entitled, and because he thinks his shit doesn't stink.
Yeah.
And then you do this, you're not helping your case. Here, they're never going to be able to turn him babyface in AEW at this point. I
mean, yeah, maybe. But no, you're right. When it comes to like the whole media training thing, yeah, I mean, AEW lets their wrestlers do whatever they want, not just online, but also on TV. I mean, it's pretty obvious to me, at least, you know? So, I mean, you don't see Gunther doing that stuff online, right? And he has a lot of heat, but it's not that kind of heat, not the kind of heat where, you know, you can just go up to Gunther and like threaten him. You know, it's just completely different.
Yeah, I agree. I think he should be reprimanded. I don't think he should be fired. I think he should be reprimanded. And I think they need to put him through some kind of media training or PR training, or sit him down with HR and make him do something to fix the situation, because the reports are also indicating he's got a lot of heat with people backstage, other wrestlers. He's got heat with production. He's got heat with management. And there are apparently, according to reports, people on the network are furious with him.
Yeah, I'm not surprised, dude. And here's the thing. We're talking about Ricochet, Brick. Thank you for your question. I'm not a fan of Ricochet, all right? I think, personally, the wrestler sucks. The promo sucks. The character sucks. But the reason it sounds like I'm trying to defend Ricochet, or it is because he is a human being. We all make mistakes. We all fuck up. You know, whatever, if you like or hate his work, at the end of the day, he's a performer trying to entertain all of us fans, right? Do you think that he deserves all of these fucked up messages that him and his wife are getting from the fans? Because I don't. I think that's way too much.
Here, let me back up for a second, because I hate something you said. I have, and not because you said it, I've hated this my whole life. I hate everybody makes mistakes. No. There are mistakes and there are fucking choices. A mistake is, oh my God, I just spilled your water on you by bumping the table. Oh my God, that was my mistake. Oh, it was an accident. A choice is, I typed it into my phone. I hit post. I made a choice. Because people like to hide behind shit and go, oh, everybody makes mistakes. And then they try to take the victim route and go, well, I'm just a victim of circumstance. It could have happened to anybody. No, motherfucker, you made a choice. Now, at the end of the day, Ricochet made a choice and he made the wrong one. And he's getting the vicar that he deserves for what he did. Do I think he deserves those unaliving threats that him and his wife are getting? Absolutely not. The guy said word. People are now trying to threaten that they are going to pass action. You guys are way over the line. You are way past the mark. You have lost the fucking plot. He said words. It is not that. It's a serious thing he said. It is not serious enough to take it to that level where now you are terrorizing his wife, who doesn't work for the company, who isn't a wrestler, and now she's getting his anger by proxy from you people. And as far as I am concerned, regular Joe, no, choices cannot be mistakes. I disagree. Your choices, bad choices can result in mistakes happening later. Well, here, choices start. But at the end of the day, no. I think the fans, you can be pissed. You can say what you want about them. To do that, way past the line.
And I do agree with the most part of what you're trying to say, because you're right. The reason I say people make mistakes, and I think what Ricochet did is a mistake, is because a mistake to me is, oh shit, I fucked up. I will never do that ever again. Okay. That was a mistake. He corrected it. He learned from it. He's going to grow from it, and he's not going to do it again. That is a mistake. Now, if Ricochet goes off and does the same shit again, then he's making that choice to do it again, to fuck up again.
It becomes a pattern.
Yeah.
But here's the problem. The reason fans are jumping on him so hard is because he's already created the pattern, and he started creating the pattern about a year and a half ago. When he started acting the way he was online, he started getting very sour with people in comment sections. He would start reposting things that were just nothing but WWE hate spew. He got very, very bitter, even though they treated him very well. He was a multi-time champion. He was featured in a big-ass story right before he decided to drop his entire contract. They literally employed his wife and made her a focal point of Monday Night Raw television. They were held in very high regard. Was he ever going to be world champion? No, but they treated him well. Yeah. And at the end of the day, he's very bitter. And at the end of the day, he doesn't like when fans call him out for his bitter behavior, for his bitter remarks, for his bitter tweets, because you just sound like an old guy screaming at the clouds. So people call you out on that because people don't want to hear or read you bitch. Yeah. So when it came down to it, he created the pattern where people were already losing any kind of respect for him, faith in him, and then you go and do something like this. Yeah. However, again, I don't care who you are. If you were in the sound of my voice, and when this clip plays later, if you can hear this, I don't care what he said. What he said is nowhere near as wrong as you sending unaliving messages and threats to him and his wife. You should be arrested for that.
Yeah.
And you should have your accounts suspended for that, because he said words. You're now scaring and terrorizing his family with action, and you are fucking out of your mind.
Yeah, bro. And first, before I move on, I want to thank the people that are hanging out with us right now. Thanks for the likes. Thanks for the comments. Keep double tapping the screen. Break wants to know, what did Ricochet do? We're talking about Ricochet's comment or tweet where he told the fan that Ricochet is glad the fan has MS. Shout out to the Reluctant Red Shirt, said if he said it live, that would be a mistake, but he typed it, read it, sent it by choice. Thank you for your comment. Debate 32 Wrestling also says Ricochet is too sensitive to be online. Now,
I agree with that.
Here is another thing. Yeah, you're absolutely right about all this. Again, Ricochet is a performer. He's a pro wrestler. He was in character, maybe. That's what he wants to say. Okay, cool. For him to be getting these types of messages is crazy to me because, yes, he said something hurtful. But he's not like a criminal. He's not breaking laws by saying this. He's not over there like some of these people online doing the crazy dark web stuff that, he's maybe a little annoying, yes, but he does not deserve this type of treatment. And I'm just saying this as a human being. I don't like Ricochet.
Yeah. And you're correct.
You're
correct. End of the day, he's a human being. His wife, completely innocent in the situation. The fact that, I understand you having ire with him. Samantha Irvin didn't say shit. She didn't do anything other than she's married to him. Yeah. Why are you sending her unaliving threats? What the fuck is that about? That's an innocent woman right there who's only fucking guilty of loving the guy. And clearly there must be something about him that she finds obviously warm and enticing and lovable about him. At the end of the day, the guy might have one part of his personality that is completely unattractive and asinine to the rest of us, but clearly he's got good enough qualities that when she looks at him, she goes, that's the man that I love and want to be with. So clearly he must have redeeming qualities. I mean, have you fucking seen Samantha Irvin? And at the end of the day, you should not pass your rage onto someone who had nothing to do with the thing you're angry about in the first place.
Yeah.
Because wrestling fans are nuts. Because you guys follow people to fucking airports. You stalk people to their houses like you did to fucking, like you did to goddamn Mandy Rose during COVID, like you did to freaking Rhea Ripley, like you did to Asuka. Like, you guys go too far.
Yeah.
That's my problem.
Yeah, that's true, man. And again, I've said some pretty crazy things online because we talk a lot online. We do these things a lot, like 3, 4, sometimes 5 times a week, right? And I've said a lot of crazy shit, not to this type of level, that I look back and I'm like, oh, I feel hella dumb for saying that, But Ricochet, if the AEW told him to do it or not, regardless, he apologized for it. He manned up and he was like, hey, I fucked up and I would like to apologize. I took out the anger that I had for the IWC. I took it out on one person and I shouldn't have done that. And that takes balls. I don't care who you are, bro. It takes balls to admit that you fucked up.
I genuinely believe, though, that the initial response was a fumble. I think that just tweeting, I'm sorry for what I said, yada, yada, I apologize. It's the same thing as how people might have possibly, because we were talking about how you can't read emotion through a text, misread the initial comment he made. Because let's say, what if he did make that comment as a work? He was working while on Twitter. He's in heel mode on character. The problem was that he tweeted that instead of what I said. He should have made a video cutting a promo on that commenter so you could tell by the cadence and the wording that he was doing a work, not a shoot. Then he would actually have defenders because it'd be like, oh, dude, he's working. I'll just MJF says way worse because MJF's always working, right? You'd have an example to pull from. My thing is that apology should have also been a video. So you could see the sincerity. You could hear it in his voice. Yeah. And I think that AEW should have made him do a video. Now, to answer a question that's also perfect in the comments, Talon Williams shout out says, if AEW decides to release him, where does he go from here? Well, I'm going to stop you there because Talon, I genuinely don't believe they're going to release him. He might have a lot of heat. He may be in a shit ton of trouble. Maybe they'll book him to lose a couple matches. But at the end of the day, if they're not going to fire Jack Perry for the crap he caused with Punk, if they didn't fire Punk after Brawl, if they didn't even fire the Elite and the Elite caused Brawl out, and they all just got suspended, and the only reason Punk was gone longer is because he had to get surgery. Other than that, Tony Khan lets all that shit go, and he pays a lot to have Ricochet do the amazing stuff Ricochet does in that ring. He's not firing him, but he definitely needs to be fucking reprimanded or sat down and have a long talk with human resources with Tony Khan, who needs to do his fucking job for once, step in and go, I think we need to get an actual media team here because you got to have more control over these contractors. The thing is, they're not employees. They represent your company as contractors. And you need to have certain rules in place that keep them from harming your brand's reputation. Because it can only take one thing one guy says on TV. There goes your TV rights deal. There's no re-up next year.
Yeah, shout out to K Weave says, love tuning into you guys. Thank you, K Weave. Man, it must suck working HR in AEW, says a reluctant red shirt. Thank you for your comment. That's funny. But yeah, I don't think they're going to fire Ricochet because I've noticed a pattern. Like, I've been following AEW since they first started, and they have released or fired people for different reasons. Most of them is mostly for homophobia. If they make some comments about that, they don't stand for that shit. And domestic violence is another one that I think a couple people have been fired for in AEW.
A couple people, yeah. A couple people in the last 2 years. I think there was at least 2 people. But like then again, during COVID-19, when Darby Allin got accused by his ex for SA or whatever the hell it was, they kept him around because their personal investigation bore no fruit. So they just let it go and let Darby Allin keep wrestling on TV. And he's still there.
Shit, I don't even remember that.
Yeah, that was like 2021, I think, if I remember correctly. It was I remember it was Wrestling News 2021. Wrestle Talk broke it. It was a whole thing. Yeah, his ex-wife broke that. And
I remember wasn't he married to like Gigi Dolan at some point?
It was somebody that he has an ex with. It was an ex-wife or ex-girlfriend that I believe was a pro wrestler actually, or something like that, engaged to her, and she basically tried to say, "Oh, you think you're so cool because you do a skateboard on TV, but you love to beat women, this kind of thing." So
Sorry.
It was a whole thing. But the point is, AEW, like WWE, will do their own internal investigation. If they don't think it can bring any legal ramifications onto their company, they'll let it go. But if it's something super social, like really bad homophobia, like xenophobia, racism, anything like that. Like, because there was one of the girl wrestlers they had last year, they had to fire for domestic abuse or something, for beating up her girlfriend or boyfriend or something. So
I think Ricochet is going to be just fine. I mean, they had
he'll be fine.
Nick Gage on AEW a few times, and he's like a former drug addict and former convicted felon. He like got caught for like robbing banks or something like that. He was on AEW, so I think Ricochet's going to be fine.
I mean, let's be real. Like, they let New Jack run loose all over the Indies for about 20 years, So I mean, and he still wound up wrestling for other prominent companies on and off. If they'll let New Jack fork a fucking who was it, like that 17 or 16-year-old kid who pretended and lied and said he was 18? He like sliced him open with a fork and shit and all this other crap and sent him to the ER. It was the whole thing. He was still very hireable for like another 15 years. I don't see them firing Ricochet, and I don't think they should fire Ricochet. I think this needs to be a learning experience for Ricochet, and I think it should also be a learning experience for the people who run the company and start looking at their talent and going, should we hire a media training team? Should we put our talent through PR training? Because that's what WWE does, and it's worked really good for them for the most part.
Yeah, I think this is going to blow over soon. I don't think this is really a big deal.
It's Twitter, bro. Twitter, short ass fucking. They'll forget about this shit next week when the next thing happens.
All right, moving on. Mr. Bludd is not aware of what I'm going to hit him with next when it comes to the next topic of our TikTok Live, weekly TikTok Live here tonight. Be sure to double tap the screen, you guys, and keep on sharing your comments. Tell us how you feel about these right here. But we got to talk about AEW still because we're on Ricochet right now. Last week, AEW had their pay-per-view Revolution, and a lot of people made debuts, returns. Usually AEW pay-per-views are full of these, right? But there was one particular that got lots of attention because it was another former WWE star that made their AEW debut, Ronda.
I don't give a damn about your reputation.
Ronda Rousey showed up in AEW. Mr. Bludd, did you hear about this?
I saw the debut, and it sucks, man. I used to adore Ronda Rousey. I adored her. I loved her first original run with the company. And oh my God, did this woman just turn into the most bitter fucking, like, her, like, she has bitterness with the company that like rivals like Bret Hart's never ending whining, complaining about Goldberg. Like, nothing the company did to her is worth the amount of bitching she does. She is so bitter. She complains about the writing, the pairing, the matchmaking, the producers, the travel, and everybody says the same thing. Even Becky said it on Unreal. Freaking Seth Rollins said it in an interview with Club Shay Shay a couple months ago. Fucking JBL just said it last week. Ronda never got it. She liked professional wrestling. She was always a lifelong fan. She loved Piper. She never really got it. She never truly understood the psychology of wrestling, what the business really is. She never understood it. She never got it. She learned that the hard way when she used to have all of her matches pre-choreographed for fucking weeks and had all the time to prep. And when it came to doing it on the fly, she was lost. She didn't understand the art of selling, didn't understand the art of timing, didn't understand the art of making sure your opponent looks good even when you're beating them down. Like the art of the correct way to cut a promo where you're selling people on the fucking tickets, but you're also putting over your enemy while also cutting them down in a promo the correct way. She just never fucking grasped any of it. And just like Ricochet, she has remained consistently bitter and will go to great lengths whenever she gets a chance to badmouth the WWE. And it's like, dude, they paid your ass a lot and you got tons of fucking publicity. You were made a champion, a face of a whole division. You got your first match was a Mania match with Kurt fucking Angle, Triple H, and Stephanie McMahon. You got to work with the two biggest women stars in the industry at the time, Charlotte and Becky, and The Rock. Boo fucking who? Like, oh my God. And now she's out there. The only thing she's been bitching about lately, I agree with, is UFC's mistreatment of their talent, not paying them their correct wages to go out there in combat sports. That was another thing she went public for last week, speaking out against the UFC. Other than that, it's like, dude, come on. Like,
yeah,
Ronda, you are not the be all end all. You are the WWE. You wanted them to want you, and you needed being there so you could fulfill a dream. They never needed you. They were just willing to use your star power when you were still in your prime to squeeze every last drop out of fucking promoting you. But you never clicked with it the way you should have.
Yeah, shout out to Reluctant Redshirt. Thank you for the follow. They say it's weird timing considering her fight with Gina Carano on Netflix coming up. That was one of the things that crossed my mind. A lot of things crossed my mind when I saw that Ronda Rousey showed up. Also, Debate 32 says, it wasn't a debut. Tony Khan said himself that this was just a special appearance. Okay, that's a little relieving then, because I thought this was like, Ronda has officially signed with AEW type thing. But yeah, apparently Ronda Rousey has a fight coming up on Netflix, right? And I'm like,
if this against Gina Carano.
Yeah, and I'm like, if this is a way for Ronda Rousey to promote her fight, which is going to be on Netflix, which is where WWE is on, I'm like, that to me does not make sense, you know? So that was one thing.
Well, they got lucky that I guess the deal with Netflix buying HBO fell through, because it was very close to Netflix owning HBO, and they were going to basically own the very network AEW was on. So they dodged a bullet there. But at the end of the day, look, it's all just publicity. Ronda's talked way too much shit about the WWE for them to be like, you just trashed us like 3 months ago in an interview, and now you want us to what? Pay you to promote your fight? Fuck you. Like, they probably would have done business if the money was right, but I guarantee you, she's not paying them. They would be paying her. And I don't know about you, but you just been shitting on my business for 2 years since you left, and now you think I'm going to give you millions of dollars for a one-off appearance to promote your fight that's not even on my program? Fuck yourself. Like, you know.
And I even think that their own AEW fans weren't too thrilled about this either. Like, the reaction was like non-existent when Ronda got in the ring. I don't know if you saw the clips, but
Because I got news for you, brother. Most AEW fans were at one point or another still a fan of WWE or had watched WWE. And AEW's only been around since 2019. Ronda came into the WWE and made her wrestling appearance like 2 or 3 years prior to AEW launching. I think it was like 2015 or something. So like they were already exposed to what she does in the business when she's in the business and what her matches look like. And they probably just thought, oh, great, here comes another reject from the Fed trying to come in here, and they're going to steal the thunder from Tony Storm. And the AEW fans were like, you are, no. We got homegrown talent here. That's what I respect about AEW fans. They're loyal to their wrestling, the wrestlers they love there. They're very loyal to their talent there as fans. I admire that. I can't stand AEW. However, I admire the passion that the fans are like, this is our homegrown talent. We love these people. You're not going to just come in here and take the spotlight from Tony Storm, who's been working her ass off for over a year to build this character, build up this division, and be one of the most entertaining aspects of the show. Now, I personally think Tony Storm is cringe as fuck, but I respect her fucking hustle. And I think she still is, even though I think she's cringy, I think she has still become one of the most organically grown fucking wrestling talents in mainstream wrestling in years in the women's division. I wouldn't want Ronda coming in and stealing her thunder either.
So this is another good point here by Debate 32. Says, especially WWE being UFC's sister company, is this fight with Ronda Rousey and Carano, is it under the UFC brand umbrella?
I don't know, considering that Ronda literally went on her soapbox a couple days ago, and rightfully so, shit talked the hell out of UFC and Dana White for being greedy and pocketing all this money, making all this billions of dollars, and refusing to pay their fighters livable wages and wages that she thought that they're deserving of. It's been a huge contention because UFC's been in debt for fucking years. That's why Endeavor, TKO have been sucking all the money out of WWE fans to fill the $1 billion of debt they have in UFC. So they have not been paying their talent because they don't have money.
So according to Debate
or they're
32,
pretending they don't.
According to Debate 32, it's not under UFC, so that makes sense. They also say, this is funny, most AEW fans are old WWE fans who want wrestling and not story-focused shows, and Ronda can't do either.
I mean, it's a fair point. I disagree that AEW fans don't want storytelling. I think that AEW fans want the best of both. They want the real gritty, it feels tangible storytelling without all the hokey pokey, entertainment shit with that sport aspect of what professional wrestling can really be when two technicians get in there or two high flyers go in there and have one hell of a cardio fucking off with each other. I think fans with AEW are lapsed WWE fans or still fans of WWE and AEW because tribalism in wrestling is stupid, in my opinion. And I think that they're just like, look, we love storytelling. We just want storytelling that doesn't make me feel like I got to turn the TV off because if someone walks in, I'm going to be getting secondhand embarrassment. Like they just want real storytelling that feels mature with exceptional wrestling. And I completely understand why AEW fans are so loyal to that company. Ronda can't do either. She has never cut a promo that didn't, people used to say Sasha Banks can't cut a promo, and Sasha can't. Sasha will cut a promo like, now listen to me. I don't know who you think you are, but I am Mercedes Moné. Sasha or freaking Ronda cuts a promo like, you listen to me. I'm Ronda Rousey. I'm the baddest woman on the planet. You're going to tap out to me. Awkward point at the WrestleMania sign. Like, that's how Ronda cuts fucking promos. But she cuts them worse than Mercedes. And I didn't think that was if Ricochet cuts better promos than Ronda Rousey. Mm-hmm. Let that sink in.
Yeah, man. I think this is the last thing I'm going to say about this because I didn't really care too much about it either. I just want to hear your thoughts. But I think this was kind of just AEW's way to kind of test the waters to see, what kind of reaction they would get when Ronda Rousey showed up. And I think they realized, well, it wasn't really a reaction that we hoped for, because actually, now that I think about it, Ronda Rousey showed up randomly. I think she had like a random match in Ring of Honor maybe last year.
I remember something about that. Yeah.
It was not televised. It was just, oh, she's just here and she just wants to have fun and she just wants to get in the ring.
Which is fine.
Yeah.
Which is fine. Look.
But hold on
any wrestler, go ahead.
Because,
but then I'm going to make a really good point after you.
Because they did this in a pay-per-view, which is a big difference compared to Ring of Honor. They go from a non-televised taping in Ring of Honor to a pay-per-view. And I think that they wanted to see how the fans would react. They didn't. And they were just like, this was just a special appearance. There's nothing here. But go ahead.
Ronda gives me heavy Tongaloa vibes. But aside from, I'm always wondering, is she going to botch this? But at the end of the day, look, any former wrestler, anybody who stopped wrestling, myself included, Dwayne Cashman, who might still be watching, who is a current professional wrestler and a fucking champion on the indies, will tell you, when you stop wrestling, you have a time where you are adjusting to not doing it. And then out of nowhere, you start getting the itch and you go, oh my God, man, I don't know what it is. I just want to have a match. I just want to run the ropes. I just want to take a bump. And Ronda has that thing where she stepped away because she was so, disenchanted with WWE, wanted to start a family, that she still came back because she got that bug again. And then she got burnt out and they didn't give her the shit she wanted to do with Shayna the right way. And then she left again. And then she was out. And then out of nowhere, all of a sudden, she gets the bug and then she wanted to do Ring of Honor. And then she got the bug and then she wanted to have fun with AEW. And the thing is, she gets the bug. I think she does love pro wrestling. I think she enjoys it. I just don't think she understands it. To me, she is the fan that has always been a casual fan that got to get in the ring. I think that's what Ronda really is. A casual fan who isn't a smart mark or one of us in the IWC that knows the ins and outs of fucking everything. She is a casual fan that is a real athlete that got to step in the ring and doesn't know how to stop doing it, but doesn't actually know how to do it properly.
Yeah, we'll see what happens with Ronda Rousey. It looks like some people are actually hoping to see Ronda Rousey versus Toni Storm. Maybe. We'll see what happens with that. But let's move on from this. We have a couple more topics, but we really only have enough time for one. Another one was AEW related, just really quick. Tony Khan, apparently one of the companies that he either owns or AEW owns, or this company owns AEW. It's called Base 10. So I believe they have some ownership to AEW. Apparently this company made an offer to buy WWE back in 2023 when it was on sale, which was worth $6.9 billion. It was one of the 4 offers made to purchase WWE. It was the lowest offer, but the interesting thing about this whole thing is that this company, Base 10, I think has some type of ownership with AEW. So I think either Tony Khan is part of this company. So basically, Tony Khan could have owned WWE back in 2023. It's just interesting to think about. Do you have any thoughts on that?
He wouldn't have owned it because Vince forced his way back in just so he could commission a sale. He would have never given the company to the last rival he had on his way out. Vince, you can say a lot about him. He's not a sellout. You can say anything you want about Vince. He's a pervert. He's a sick son of a bitch. He's a master manipulator. He's a sick weirdo with a fucking, like Oedipus fetish. He is a horrible human being. He is not a sellout. And by the way, you're talking about one of the richest men in America. You think for one second that motherfucker was going to be like, yeah, I'll give you my blood, sweat, and tears and my father's blood, sweat, and tears through 50 years of family-owned business for $6 billion? They sold it for more than that. He wasn't budging. That company's worth even more than that today. He would have never sold it to fucking Tony Khan.
Yes.
Especially when AEW was still alive and well. He would not have left the company in the hands of his son-in-law and his daughter and his friends like Bruce Pritchard who were still there. He would not have left the company in their fucking hands if he knew it was going to be at the mercy of their competitor their main competitor at the time, fucking hands. if he knew it was going to be at the mercy of their competitor their main competitor at the time.
This is going to be fun editing. All right. So we kind of talked about this a little bit, Mr. Bludd, but I want to hear if your prediction or your thoughts changed on this whole thing with Randy Orton talking on the phone, because now that it's been a few days since SmackDown, there's been a lot of different names being thrown around as to who Randy Orton was speaking to on the phone. There's a lot of people saying maybe it's Ric Flair, maybe it's Charlotte Flair, because of the whole thing of what Randy said, how, wrestling has other great
more than one royal family.
Yeah.
He was quoting Cody's entrance music.
So thank you. And people are saying maybe it's The Rock, because obviously of the bloodline. So there's been a few names being thrown around. Has your prediction changed at all since this past Friday, Bludd?
No, I don't think it's The Rock, because I agree with David LaGreca from Busted Open Radio. If The Rock were to come back right now, it would have to be on Monday Night Raw for the Punk and Roman story, because Punk mentioned Sika and said the whole thing about Roman's dad. So for him to come back in a story just because what? Because Randy Orton gave him a phone call? He'll come back because Randy Orton gave him a phone call and because he has some business with with Cody Rhodes, but he won't come back because somebody disrespected one of the family elders of the bloodline, and The Rock, being the shoot high chief, would come back because Randy said, "Hey, I need you to settle a score with me with this guy on SmackDown." But he wouldn't come back and touch the shit with Roman. From what Punk said, I don't buy it. Some people said Ted DiBiase Jr. I was like, that motherfucker's in jail.
Yeah.
for frauding a fucking church or a charity of millions. No.
What about this? Quick shout out to
don't
regular
think it's Flair.
Quick shout out to regular Joe, says Regal / Finley to tie into the Birthright, because they're on NXT.
Yeah, but I mean, why randomly introduce them into the story now? Nobody in the main roster audience is going to know who they are unless they also watch NXT. And most main roster casuals don't watch NXT. They just watch Friday Night SmackDown, Monday Night Raw. I'm sticking with me genuinely believing it's Kevin Owens, because Kevin, when he last left, he was still a heel. Mm-hmm. He was feuding with Cody when he went out on that injury. And on top of that, he had that next fusion surgery in June of last year. So it's been shit.
I'm sorry, regular Joe. He said it was an outside shot. My bad, regular Joe. My bad. Go on, Bludd.
So, but he had that next fusion surgery last June. So it's been, over half a year, 7-8 months now since he's had that surgery. I would imagine he's been doing physical therapy. I could absolutely see Kevin Owens returning now, because if you remember, the three people in that feud before Kevin left was Kevin, Cody, and Randy. So I can see, and in that time, Kevin turned heel, but he turned heel by getting pissed off at who? Randy. He attacked Randy, package pile driver. But now Randy is the heel. Kevin might still be the heel. Who's he calling to help him settle the score with the last person Kevin never finished feuding with? Cody.
Yeah, and I get what you're saying. It makes sense what you're saying, and it has been a while since Kevin Owens been out, but
a year.
But according to the comments here, regular Joe seems like he knows his shit, so I'm going to read what he said. Kevin Owens isn't cleared and is getting evaluated this summer. I can't see them bringing Kevin Owens in when he can't get touched yet. Pause.
Well, then it better fucking make sense for whoever, because look, wrestling does have more than one royal family. So unless fucking, Cody or Randy's calling in random ass bloodline members, what Charlotte Flair's going to come out of nowhere and kick Cody in the nuts?
Bully Ray said he would be down to see that.
she's absolutely on fire right now as a babyface. The fans genuinely love her again. And not in an ironic way. They adore her again. I don't see them throwing that all away with all the work they had her do with Alexa Bliss to turn her character around. I can't think of a lot of other second, third generation superstars still in the company. I don't want to see Ric Flair come down, trotting down to the ring for his 15th fucking retirement match. I don't want to see him getting involved. It would make no sense this close to Mania. To me, it needs to be somebody that makes sense story-wise and makes sense in a way that there is some kind of tie to Randy already that we've seen on screen and or Cody. Having some random person debut in the company fucking now, this close to Mania, would just make no goddamn sense to me.
Yeah, I mean, if it's going to be a second generational star, there's a lot of those in the WWE. So it could be literally anyone. But I'll be damned if it's not Danhausen, then what are we doing, bro? What are we doing, bro? If it's not Danhausen or Kit Wilson, I'll be cool with that.
I would rather lay in a bathtub with a cinder block on my chest than have that be my story going into WrestleMania until the fucking last bubble pops, motherfucker.
Do the right thing, Randy. Do the right thing, bro. Nah, man, maybe I kind of want to like look at the roster and see every second generational superstar currently in the roster right now. Should we do it? Just really quick, just to throw some names out?
Go for it, I guess.
All right, keep talking while I look it up.
I mean, I can already think of the Usos, Cody, Randy's a third generation. You got to think damn near the whole entire fucking bloodline are second generation stars. That's half of SmackDown's roster right there. Charlotte Flair. God, let's see. Finley's kid. God, there's honestly so many. Natty.
Is Karrion Kross second generation? No, he's not.
Not that I'm aware of. No, the Von Erichs.
But they wouldn't be in the WWE. Braun Breaker's one, but Braun Breaker,
Braun,
he wouldn't be involved in that Cody Rhodes story, would he?
No, he'd be coming. He has to be coming back on time to face Seth because they decided to take Seth out of the tag stuff and left Logan and Theory to handle the Usos, and then Obafemi's got Brock out of the way. That literally leaves Seth with no one except Braun to face at Mania. So no, Braun's taken up. I totally believe he's medically cleared in time. God, I mean, there really are so many stars. When I'm really trying to think of the generational talent. I think I'm blanking. Uncle Howdy.
I'm putting this on Chat GBT. Just see what pops up.
Because, I think I named all the ones I can think of. Uncle Howdy, I think, is the last one I can think of.
Dempsey, Finley's kid, Lexus King. Those are all from the Birthright. They're from NXT. I don't see them being called up for this. Anyone Samoan? Zilla too? Nah, that wouldn't make sense, would it?
I mean, it kind of, no, because again, Roman kind of shot that in the foot with the bloodline when he basically put a hit out on Punk and said, all members of the bloodline everywhere in the world, you have permission. If Zilla 2 debuted out of nowhere, it would have to be to attack Punk.
What about Natty?
Or Solo. I already mentioned Natty. Natty again. Again, I don't want to see Natty fucking do anything in this story, and I don't even want to be seeing her do anything on Raw either anymore.
Jacob Fatu.
Or the whole bloodline, I already mentioned all of them.
Yeah, okay.
And I don't. But here's the thing: all the MFTs are second generation. All the MFTs are also heels. Randy could have talked to Solo. Solo's got history with Cody. That's possible. But I do feel like the fans would be incredibly underwhelmed if going into WrestleMania again, Cody was involved with some member of the bloodline in some story capacity. I feel like the fans would be like, oh, this shit again?
What about Dom?
Fuck no. He's got his own shit on Raw with Finn going into Mania.
Yeah. Yeah, man. I'm not getting a whole lot of names here. Yeah, who fucking knows? Maybe it's Danhausen, bro.
Wait. Shout out to Akil Ranjit. He just said, what about Sami Zayn?
He's not second generation.
It doesn't matter. Randy just said because there's more than one royal wrestling is more than one royal family. Could have just been talking about himself. Not referring to anybody, but Sam. People just are believing he was talking about somebody else. He was talking about himself. But who has had the most issues with Cody on SmackDown for weeks now? With Cody always getting his way, always getting a shot, always being the guy. Sammy.
Alex Guzman 1017 Yee, thank you for the follow. Yes, I love that one. I
think we're all looking at this the wrong way. Wrestling is more than one royal family. Randy, again, could have just been talking about himself, and we all just assumed he was talking about some kind of surprise. He could have been, and remember, he's friends with Sammy, could have been talking to Sammy, and Sammy is turning fucking heel on Cody at Mania or right before.
I love it.
That makes sense.
Who said that?
It fits story.
Who said that?
Akil Ranchid.
Shout out to you.
It fits story. It makes sense. It makes sense.
That would be fucking dope, bruh. I love it.
I actually would. You know what? I'm changing my prediction from Kevin to Sammy. I actually need it to be Sammy.
Yeah, I feel that.
It would be great. Great character work. Great fucking like facials. And even if it results in a feud with Sammy and Cody after Mania, dude, wow. Talk about the emotional weight, all the history, the War Games matches, the bloodline fighting. There's so much there to pull from story-wise. I would be so down for that. The promos would be awesome.
The Reluctant Red Shirt says, what about Drew? Nah, I still like Sammy more. I like Sammy more for this.
Just get Drew back. I'm sick of Cody and Drew feuding. What do you call it? No, Sammy. I'm so glad Drew's actually going away to film The Highlander after Mania, because I'm at that point where I need to miss him because I'm sick of seeing him.
Shout out to Toot Arrington. What up? Thank you for the follow. Thanks to everybody that was hanging out with us today, and the likes and the follows and the comments. Like always, it's a pleasure. But we have hit our time for tonight, Mr. Bludd.
Yes, we have. So thank you guys for kicking it with us here on our Thursday night Snug Wrestling Hour. If you love hanging out with us, you can do it every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday after Raw, NXT, and SmackDown go off the air respectively for live post-show reviews. And again, hang out with us here every Thursday on TikTok Live at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific, and 8 o'clock Central for 1 hour every single week where we do random or relevant wrestling topics. And we also answer your fan questions live. And of course, if you love segment to segment reaction content, check out all of our socials during all of the regular weekly shows so you can go ahead and see our actual reactions as things are happening. So guys, you've been amazing. Until next time, stay safe, stay savage, and stay